Hey there, this is Eugene coming at you today from Etienne Brule Park along the Humber River, one of Canada's heritage rivers and one of the two main rivers that flow down through the Toronto area, the other one being the Don. It's been a while since I've been out walking. I think my last video was right after the snowstorms. And, well, yes, I have been hibernating. And what have we missed? Well, our closest friends, neighbors, trading partners, the United States. Man, they've attacked us economically, and the President of the United States has stated he wants to annex Canada by using economic pressure. Canadians are pissed. That's the bottom line. Canadians are pissed. How is this going to get resolved? I don't know. Looks like the President of the United States is trying to tank his own economy to me. Stirring up crap around the world. Changing the world order. I don't know. What's that guy up to? What do you think he's up to? What do you think we ought to do about it? Love to hear your comments. Let's go for a little walk along the river. There's parking facilities off Old Mill Drive, right by the Old Mill Bridge, and we'll go over there in a bit. There's a bathroom here. I don't know if this is open all year or not. I'll see if there's a sign there. May to October. So no washrooms right now. But there will be a little bit later on in the spring. It's around noon, midweek. And it's just a beautiful day. This morning, when I was out with my dog, it was close to the freezing point. It's a few degrees warmer than that now. And I think the temperature is going to continue to warm up throughout the day. This was one of my father's favorite places. He used to tell me stories about coming down here with his boyhood buddy Freddie, and they would camp down here. They had places they would camp, and there was a spot where my dad said they camped by some apple trees, and there was a storm coming, and my father said that he had a hatchet and he was trying to cut some wood so they could have a fire. And he said that the whole hatchet suddenly glowed, and next thing he knew, he was being thrown away several feet. The hatchet was thrown away many feet, and it was hit by lightning. Somehow or other, he wasn't injured. Now, my dad, he could always stretch the truth in any kind of story to increase the good story value. And maybe over the years he did that, but I'm sure there was something to it. The river is running chocolate milk today. It's high and it's mucky. We're approaching the Old Mill Weir. When I was a kid, we used to come down here to watch salmon. They used to, and I guess they still do, plant salmon in these rivers, the Lake Ontario rivers, to create a sports fishery. Often, though, when people were fishing in here and those big salmon were in the river, they weren't biting, and people were using, you'd see people with big treble hooks and they try to snag the salmon. not exactly sportsmanlike. There's a sign here that says under the Trespass to Property Act, no fishing within 60 meters downstream from this dam. That's quite a way. Access beyond this point may result in drowning. Yikes. Well, we don't want to drown, but maybe we can have a look from the top of the dam, huh? This trail, more or less, follows the river quite a way up. I think there's one point where, if I remember correctly, there's a spot where the trail is not exactly formal for a brief way, and you have to cross a footbridge, but you can get, well, at least up to Eglinton Avenue. In fact, we used to bicycle that route when I was a kid. It seems that the Trump antics are creating a perfect storm for all kinds of change. Well, here, for sure, in Canada, America, I'm sure, all around the world. We've seen here in Canada just a crazy political shift. Late last year, it seemed like Pierre Poilievre from the Conservative Party of Canada was a shoo-in to be the next Prime Minister. He was busy pre-campaigning on an anti-Trudeau platform. If Trudeau was for it, he was against it. That's for sure. But when Trudeau resigned, Trump started denigrating him, calling him the governor of Canada. Started talking about annexing Canada, the 51st state, he called it. And the Liberal Party's fortunes have shifted by 20 points, 30 points. I don't know, in some polls they're now leading. And we're certainly going to have a spring election. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think should happen? I'd love to hear your comments, read your comments about it. We got some Canada geese eating here. We're going to quietly walk through them. Canada geese can be unpleasant if they have a nest going on, so hopefully we won't stir them up. mallards here, enjoying the sun. You can see there was some flooding through here. Lots of water. Could be worse. Could be lots worse. So here's the Old Mill Bridge. Once when I was a kid, my dad and I parked here in the parking lot, and he had this sports Pel canoe. It was one of those canoes that, it was as much a rowboat as it was a canoe, and it had these styrofoam things on the gunnel for stability, and it was slow and clunky and very light. It only weighed about 30 pounds. Anyway, my dad and I got in it right down here under the bridge. We went down in through Humber Marshes, and we caught some pike down in there. We were fishing. And we had just a great old day. Great time. We went a lot of places with that crazy sports Pel canoe. There's a notice up here about coyotes. Just letting us know that they're here. Please don't feed them. We have a very healthy population of coyotes and or coy wolves here in the Toronto area. It's not unusual at all to see one. Okay, right up here is the Old Mill subway station. And there's a restaurant just back in there, the Old Mill restaurant, nightclub, event space, I guess. So they named the park after Etienne Brule, and Etienne Brule was an explorer. I'm thinking late 1600s. Could I be wrong? I probably am. Probably I am. That's my guess. That's what popped into my head, and sometimes the first thing that pops into your head is the right thing, isn't it? Anyway, he ran afoul of the Hurons and they killed him. There was a lot of talk at that time that might have been propaganda type talk that suggested that they also ate him. But from what I've read, he probably wasn't lunch. It was probably some kind of political action. There's a Discovery Walks sign here about the shared path. Discover the shared path, one of Toronto's richest corridors of human history. Follow the banks of the Humber River to discover the shared path. The trail connects an ancient Aboriginal portage route to modern roads and railways, First Nations settlements to 18th century French trading posts, and the ruins of water-powered mills to the birth of industrial Toronto. Designated a Canadian Heritage River in 1999, the Humber River is both a place transformed by human hands and a vital link to our shared past. In spite of deforestation, pollution, landfill, and massive urbanization, hints of the river's ancient past remain embedded in the landscape. Take the shared path back through time to experience the Humber River as an ancient corridor of Aboriginal settlement and trade, a route for the fur trade with Europeans, and a reason for the founding of the modern city of Toronto. Okay, there's a map here. It's got all the different parks. Excellent. You could do much of this by bicycle as well. We're coming up to Old Mill Drive here, and let's take a walk and see how people live around here. I'd say this is a premium or a prestige neighborhood, if I ever seen one. Being so close to the river and all. Ooh, this is quite a hill. So if we look off this way to the left, I'm pointing directly at the Old Mill Weir that we saw earlier. Wow, this structure is built right into the hill, it seems. It's quite beautiful. Are those solar panels or just skylight panels? Don't know. See if we can see more of them up the way. There's a backdoor path to the river. It goes right down there. So the pedestrian path is closed for now due to construction on a sewage pumping station. Okay. That's all right. We'll just continue to walk down this road. Oh, I love that greenhouse. Hey, very nice. There's some bigger houses here, but some modest sized houses as well. I'd venture to say that all of them are well outside of my snack bracket. Here's Bridgeview Road. Let's take it. I've never walked nor driven back around these streets. Although I've been to Etienne Brule Park more times than I can count. This neighborhood's going to be lovely when all the gardens are in bloom, that's for sure. Looks like these houses have been around for quite a while. Would I be wrong to suggest the 40s? What do you think? Any experts on Toronto architectural history out there? I'm not one of those. Maybe 50s? I don't think we're talking 60s. These have an interesting look to them, with that sharp angle going down over the garage. Quite a hill up and behind too. Very quiet neighborhood. Langmuir Crescent. Sure, let's take that too. I may have to retrace my steps to get back, I don't know. It feels terrific to be out here walking, enjoying a sunny day, not having to worry about icy bits underfoot. It reminds me why I started doing these walks in the first place, because it was really nice to be out there checking out the city. These houses are just hanging over the edge. I hope they don't have an erosion problem. This white tree thing is screaming, "Look at me." And it has some metal dog art, cat art below. Okay, we've just done a little circle. I recognize this building under construction coming up. So we'll continue back to the Etienne Brule Park parking lot. Not using the path, which is closed, but going around by the sidewalk, and hey, that's okay. Been a couple new subscribers in the last week, even though I haven't put up any new videos. So thank you. And if you're one of those people, I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy this video. And please check out all the others. Don't know where we're heading next, really. Could be anywhere. You know, usually I get a plan, and then at the last second I change it. That's just the nature of the beast, I guess. So if there's someplace you'd like me to go, it may take me a little while, but I'll get there if I can. If I think I can find a video in there somewhere. You just never know when you come out what you're going to see, who you're going to meet, what the conditions are like. Sometimes there's surprises, sometimes there's not. That's just the way it goes. Meanwhile, I've managed to get a nice walk in with the hills, and I'm happy to report that my tendonitis in my left heel is doing really well with the orthotics. That is to say, it isn't completely healed, and every now and then it flares up a little bit. But for the most part, I'm walking pain-free. And for months, it was really quite painful to do any kind of serious walking. So I'm grateful for that, for sure. if you think that you need orthotics, I'm going to say one thing. Try them out, and if you find they aren't quite right, go back and have them adjusted. The guy I went to, did an adjustment because they just weren't right at first, and I think he nailed it the second time. So I think these guys work in millimeters. We're coming back around to the entrance to Etienne Brule Park. Which is where we'll end our walk today. If you're enjoying my videos, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost a thing, but it sure does help me out. Lets me know who's out there. And eventually, if I get enough subscribers, maybe I could even join the partnership program. That'll be in about 20 years. I'll be probably like too old and feeble to walk by the time that happens. I tuned into a video the other day. Some guy who goes out to remote areas out west, fly fishing. And he's built something like 60,000 subscribers. And he's stopping doing his videos because it wasn't lucrative enough for him. I think the number one thing, if you're going to do this, I think you got to do it because you want to do it. And if people like it and it's successful and, there's a little bit of ad revenue along the way, hey, that's great. But I think if you're making this kind of video because you want to make a living, that's just nuts. I mean, I'm not making a living. That's not nuts, but